Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our roundtable sessions. Today's theme is kick-ass women in business. Our guests today are Nicole Bishop from Bishop Botanicals, Lauren Carter from the Bivalve Oyster and Libation Company, Lauren Dodge from Mtn Wave, and Alix Haddy from Good Grief Coffee. Thank you for being here, ladies. We may also have Cassidy Holt join us from Gather Grocer at some point. Let's start with some introductions. My name is Sarah Filion. I have the Matilda Swanson Gallery located in Clarksburg, Ontario. We represent about 30 to 40 different artists. Most of them are local, but we do have some from all across Canada as well. I moved here just over 13 years ago now, and I've been in business for just over 10 years. I am a founding member and president of the Clarksburg Village Association, which is a not-for-profit organization created to keep our community vibrant. I'm also the Clarksburg representative on the Economic Development Advisory Committee at the Town of Blue Mountains, and I'm also a member of the newly created COVID-19 Community Recovery Task Force. I am all about color, creativity, connection, and community. And that's all for me. So Nicole Bishop, let's hear from you.
Oh God, I don't know. I'm like notoriously bad at these. Like the last time I was asked to do this, I was like, "Hi, I'm Nicole," and that's it. It's like nothing. I was like, "I'm so happy to be here. Thanks so much." And no one knows what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm one half of Bishop Botanicals. I have that business with my mother, Susan, who's a certified aromatherapist. And out of the physical space, when it's open, not during COVID, we offer things like massage, facials, all that kind of stuff. There's yoga classes that happen out of there. I am a tarot reader and a henna artist, which I really miss doing both in person. It's nice to have that kind of like communication on that level. I'm really excited to see people today. And then we make products as well. So all clean skincare, hair care, made right out of the shop in Collingwood, which is really, really fun. And I'm not on any boards or anything. My hobbies currently consist of watching Real Housewives and staring out my window. And yeah, so that's it. But I am actually really happy to be here. So thank you for asking me.
Let's go with Lauren Carter.
Hi, I'm Lauren Carter. I am from the Bivalve Oyster Libations Co. We're in Thornbury, Ontario. We focus on raw bar, seafood, oysters, obviously. We also focus on cocktails, libations. We do guided tastings, pairings, pour service as well. We're coming up on our year anniversary in May, so we're really excited about that, even though we're in limbo right now. But yeah, we love what we do. It's really brought us close with the community. We've met a lot of local business owners. We love what we do, and it's just a lot of fun. And when I'm not doing that, I'm usually at home with my, little 4-year-old crazy child, Chloe. Who also is home and not having so much fun lately, but we're just getting through the day every day. Thank you for having me here. I'm very happy to be here, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for agreeing. Well, thank you to everyone for agreeing to participate in this. Lauren Dodge.
Okay, well, I'm Lauren, and I own Mtn Wave in Collingwood. It is a lifestyle kind of brand that I created to kind of represent what everyone who lives here loves about living in Collingwood, and everyone who's coming to visit, whether it's a weekender or someone who's on vacation. I just found that everyone is super passionate about either why they're visiting or why they live here, and there wasn't anything that represented that. So I wanted to create something to kind of like give back to the community and why I love to live here also. So I created that about 2.5 years ago. And then my background is in fashion marketing. So I've done a lot of that and PR and wholesale. And then also with Alix, she's over there on my screen. I don't know if she's actually over there. Okay, up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, her and I have created Galentine's, which I can let her chat about a bit. But basically, we wanted something to celebrate. We've noticed that in our community through Blue Mountain, Thornbury, Clarksburg, Collingwood, Wasaga, everywhere, that there's so many strong women business owners up here. And we really wanted to celebrate that. So we also wanted to be able to give back to other women who maybe don't have the advantages that we have. So we partnered with My Friend's Place, which we love that. Everyone who works there is amazing. So we thought it was just like the perfect kind of tie for us. So we had our fundraiser back in February, and we originally planned to do a summer party as well, but we're not sure that that's going to happen. So definitely next February as well. But yeah, so that's what we do.
All right. And Alix Haddy.
I'm Alex. Just a quick correction on Lauren. It's my friend's house. No, yeah. Sorry. Otherwise, I am one half of Good Grief Coffee in Thornbury. My partner and I have been open almost a year as well. This coming June will be our first anniversary. We roast our own beans, are kind of focusing on that. We would love to get our wholesale program up and running and kind of just like take over the coffee world. But right now we're super happy to be in Thornbury. We've met so many amazing people, and I'm kind of, I don't know, grown the coffee community in the area a bit. It's pretty funny to look at Thornbury in like the 1 block radius and see 5 coffee shops on one street. We've made room for everybody, and everybody has just been so welcoming, and it's been a crazy ride so far.
Wonderful. I'm so excited for this. I can't tell you. So Lauren, you kind of tapped on to my first question, which is what was the motivation for embarking on this new adventure? You already kind of said it what it was for you. Yeah, curious to hear why.
Are you speaking to me?
All of you. Whoever wants to go first.
I also forgot to mention Rory is my partner, and we live together. So that's probably awful that I forgot to mention that he's my partner in the Bivalve. I guess I'll answer that now that I said that. So when we moved up here, we moved in Thornbury a year and a half ago, and we moved from Toronto. And Rory was commuting back and forth to the city to work, and it was just getting to be way too much. And so we started brainstorming on how we could work for ourselves and be independent and do something that we love and enjoy. So we come from a strong background of the hospitality world, and oysters is always a part of like a celebration, parties, things like that. It's super fun, unique, attractive, and we thought pairing that with libations would be like amazing. And in the area, a lot of tourists are here, and people seem to enjoy good food and drink and going out and things like that. So we thought, well, maybe this will work, and we'll try it out. So we started sending out our name and emails and introducing ourselves to local businesses. We already knew some people in the hospitality world in the area as well, in the Grey Goose and Co area. So it was really nice to have people kind of take a chance on us and bring them into their establishments and have us do pop-ups and things like that. So it seemed to work, and then out of that we started to get private parties as well, which was amazing. So it kind of seemed to work itself out. So we're really happy about that.
I mean, oysters and champagne. Come on.
Yeah, I know. No, like one or the other, both. It's great.
Yeah, Alix. So, what about you?
My business partner Jesse is from Thornbury originally, so it was kind of the perfect spot for us to open Good Grief. He and I met 3 years ago now, working at Gibson and Company, which is actually the reason I'm up in Collingwood at all. My life partner is one of the owners there, so I moved up with him and his business partner, kind of started that. Jesse and I worked together 40 hours a week, and became very best friends. And kind of just liked each other's work ethic, and his passion forever has been coffee and roasting. He was roasting out of his like little apartment for the longest time. When he was ready to make it real, we kind of looked at each other and said, all right, let's do this. And it kind of weirdly all just fell into place. Everything took a really long time, but like we got the best spot on the block. There's a garage door. We're on the sunny side. Like it just worked. We've been very lucky. Even now, like we still have the ability to deliver, and it's just been great. I think like his overall reason and passion is coffee. It's what he loves to do. He roasts, when he doesn't even have to. He's drinking coffee constantly. And he just wanted to bring like a good quality coffee to the area and to the not the world obviously, but like pilot coffee roasters, like introduce something new and exciting around the world.
Yeah, for me, opening up almost 11 years ago now, feels like, say, it's been a year and forever all at the same time.
Yeah.
And Clarksburg was kind of a ghost town, and Thornbury didn't have the buzz that it has now, and we were just literally driving past, saw the for rent sign, and let's open up a gallery.
Yeah,
why not? And yeah, why not? And I was just a baby.
Oh wow.
Good
for you.
but yeah, just took hold of the space in I think like October 28th, and by December 1st we were open with a gallery. Sent an email out to all these artists, found them online, and they all agreed to participate in this gallery. And I didn't know anything at all, and it's like timing, right? It all, as you said, Alex, it all just kind of fell into place. And never would I have thought that this is what I would be doing, especially for like 10 years in. It's mind-boggling, really. Nicole?
So we kind of opened up because my mom and I are our clients, basically. She's a 2-time cancer survivor, and her kind of story leading into aromatherapy was sort of the hunt for natural remedies or alternatives or clean alternatives to things. Because she was definitely that like stereotypical mom that had all the like products on like the old school 80s marble counter, you know what I'm talking about, in the bathroom. Like our childhood bathroom was like everything was this one marble. And so she would always have all these products and stuff. So she was somebody that I learned about skincare from forever. And then with her diagnosis both times, it was kind of like, what am I not doing, or what could I do differently? So she started to go back to school. So the aromatherapy program is 2 years, learning the anatomy and all of that kind of stuff, and then formulations, and then did other add-on courses like massage and the Indian head massage, and now hot stone. And for me, it was also like watching her in these big corporate jobs, which were super draining and required basically 24/7 work, and seeing her kind of deal with that, and then also finding myself in that same position. The last job that we both had was at the same company, and very, very demanding of the guy who was in charge. And it was like Sunday morning, 7 a.m. phone calls to like get stuff done. And so we just kind of said like, what are we doing in this regard as well? Like she was in school on top of that with the idea of like, she knew she was going to say, see you later at some point. I didn't. She found the location that Bishop Botanicals is currently at, and then my hairdresser left the place next door, and I was like, I'm gonna start a store too, because I don't care. And I just like, I needed to kind of break away from the pattern I had found myself in with corporate. And then it just kind of became silly to be in 2 separate locations because we had so much crossover that we really decided to merge, and do it together at the space that we're still in now. So we wanted to be able to offer other services like tarot and meditations and all of these things for people that we definitely identify with because we were those people. So that's sort of how we started. And it's been 2 years, which is crazy. Like crazy. Because it feels like what you were saying, it's like it feels like a lifetime, but then also like a day at the same time. But it's been
no, I guess my story, it's similar to Nicole, and we've kind of bonded over that too. Was very stuck in the corporate world. I worked in kind of like a wholesale fashion marketing situation, where I became very, just really into that next raise and working crazy hours. Really got caught up in that. And, especially when you're in Toronto, it's like you feel like that's the life that you need to live and everyone's doing it. So you're doing it too. And I just kind of had like a moment where I was like, what am I doing? Like, this isn't what I want to be doing. And my parents lived up here. They had retired up here. So I don't know, it was just always coming up to escape from, my work basically on the weekends. And when I'd come up here, I'd always feel like I was on vacation. And I was just like, okay, that's it, I'm done. So I think I called my parents one day. I was like, yeah, so I'm just like gonna quit today. So and yeah, like slid a little note. No one was there at the office, which is really funny. And I slid a little note under the HR door, and
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
got my stuff to my car. Sent an email. Said bye to a few people.
Oh, wow. How long ago was this?
So that was probably about maybe like 3.5 years ago. Because there was a point from when I did that to before I started Mtn Wave, where I was like, okay, what am I doing? I didn't really know what I was gonna do, and so then I took kind of like a freelance job, and I was living up here, but I was driving down to Toronto all the time, but it was doing freelance, so I could make my own hours. And that's basically, I was basically teaching kind of like small shops how to put their businesses online, how to buy for their businesses, brands to look for, things like that. So that's kind of what I was doing. And then I realized that was also crazy, because then I was driving, 3 hours a day, which was like unnecessary, or crashing at people's couches, which I'm sure they loved. And then, yeah.
You seem nice, so I'm sure they enjoyed it thoroughly.
I have a good time. So a lot of fun.
Oysters and champagne, and you're golden.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so when I came up here, when I finally was like, okay, done with Toronto, but I still have like lots of friends down there. I love going down there, but I just know that lifestyle isn't what I was searching for. Similar to Nicole, it was like you see yourself on that, conveyor belt, and you're like, this is not what I want. So actually, those Luke shops in town, I was managing those for about 8 months.
Wow.
And I opened the furniture store. So I was the one who opened that store, and I was managing the other two. And I came up with the idea while I was working there for Mtn Wave. And I had looked at a little shop on Simcoe, and actually right near, like in the little space where Lowdown is. And I had signed like a whole thing, and then and quit my job. And then the next day, the landlord was like, oh, well, that person's going to stay. And since they've been here for so long, we're just going to let them stay. And I was like, cool.
Oh.
Yeah. So then I got a truck. And that's how that all happened. And then that's how I met Alix, who's up there, because I was across the street from Gibson's, and I would go in there because I had no friends up here. And when I was working at Luke, a lot of the ladies who work in there are older, very lovely, but you're not going to always want to go have some wine with them all the time. So would go into Gibson's, and I met Alix and Jesse and forced Alix's hand to become friends with me.
And that's how you do things.
Yeah.
You're my friend.
Yeah.
We are best friends now.
Pretty much what happened.
Hilarious.
But actually, though.
Yeah. During this time of COVID-19, we are all being affected differently. What kind of measures have you taken to keep your business vibrant? And how are you also caring for your mental health? All I see are smiles.
That's a great question.
It's a great That's hilarious.
Well, I literally was saying to Lauren like an hour before this, I've eaten French toast 3 times a day, not including my other meals. So that's part of my self-care routine right now. It's just like eating. I guess business-wise, like initially we kind of thought like, oh, this will be, I think kind of maybe everybody did. I don't want to just assume, but it was like a pause for like maybe a week or two. Which spoiler alert, nope. Like we're way past that at this point. So we've kind of fluctuated. Like we finally, because a lot of our like we have products, and we're switching gears in a lot of ways to kind of focus more on online and that sort of platform. So it's really been like a reevaluation time, because prior to that, like we have classes and services, and that was a lot of it, a lot of in person, which we really enjoy. But this was kind of a really good wake up call to say, for us anyway, like how to be more online based or mobile, et cetera, digital, I guess, overall. So on top of that, we've just sort of treated this as a reevaluation period to say, like, where are we happy? Where are we not happy? What do we love doing in the business? What do we not like so much? And then also pausing ourselves. Like, once again, going back to, like, both my mom and I have a tendency to, like, be so focused and then burn out. And that's why doing this was kind of to have a business that, you know, offers something to other people, but then keeping in mind, like, if we are our clients, also having those moments of pause, and recharge ourselves. Even though we're in business to offer that, you know, we still need that too. So in some ways it's been, like I said, like I would say mostly like reevaluation, trying to figure out next steps in terms of more like digital. We really love offering like the local delivery. I don't know if anybody else is going through that, but that's something that will probably stick even after everything's open, as being able to like, drop stuff off. That's been actually kind of great. So that's like a positive that's come out of it, because we weren't doing that prior. We didn't really think to, or at least like put it out there as like an offering. And then yeah, and like having moments of pause ourselves. I've tried to like work out and meditate more than what I was initially, just to try and like bring back some structure to my everyday. Otherwise, like I was saying at the beginning, I will watch Real Housewives. I'll watch all of it in my pajamas. So yeah, so trying to like structure for me is really big, and I realize that more now, having this like complete pause than really ever before, because this is a unique scenario. I think for everybody to have this much time where there's not even anything to go to. I can't go to a coffee shop and hang out and work, or you know, whatever. So that's kind of my sitch.
Any other smiles who want to contribute?
I'll go. With us, we're completely in limbo just because it's raw seafood, cocktails, things like that. We don't have a brick and mortar. So as of now, we're kind of just, as you said, taking a step back, breathing a little, trying to come up with some new cool cocktails, new food items, maybe come up with a way where we can bring people oysters, because we've had a lot of people inquire about it, but it's just a hard thing to do because we don't have a certified kitchen. So we're just kind of taking it as it is. Plus having a little one at home, we're focused on her and keeping her busy and entertained, but we try and get out for our walks twice a day with her for an hour. We just got her a bike. We're just trying to, you know, make things as normal as possible for her. At nighttime, I like to have a glass of wine and maybe two sometimes, depending on the day. Just, I don't know, having a nice bath and just trying to relax and just not overthink everything too much. And just supporting other local businesses as well as much as we can. We try and go out every day or order something just to show our love, just because we know it's a tough time for everybody, and everyone's been so great with us, and we just want everyone to know that we're still here and that we still, want everyone to come out of this in a positive way. And I know everyone's evolving and changing, and it's crazy to see, but it's amazing how a lot of businesses have come up with ways to survive. So it's great.
Yeah, I also think,
Adaptation.
yeah, that's something I've noticed too, which is really good because say some maybe even like maybe the older mom and pops who may have not ever had anything online. It's kind of cool to see them kind of getting involved and seeing a different way that they can play into this as well. So I think that's really cool to see how everyone's being really supportive, and if someone does need help with that, if that's totally out of their wheelhouse, people are just straight up volunteering and say like, how can I help you? Because everyone knows what it's like to go through that and kind of feel like we don't know what's coming next. But yeah, similar to Nicole, I've been really kind of taking a look at what I've been doing with the business. There's things that I've wanted to do and wanted to be able to sit down and have time to work on or build out a plan for, and change direction, which now at first I was like, yes, I'm going to do all this and, have all these ideas. And then I had, a few weeks of like just baking and maybe a little Tiger King. but now I've definitely gotten, it's the same things. It's like, if you don't kind of create a little bit of a schedule for yourself, it's easily to get lost in that. So I've kind of set it up with my days in terms, I'll get up and, have a slow morning kind of thing. And then try to in the afternoon when I have kind of more of an attention span, try to knock out a few things or brainstorm things that I've wanted to do and kind of like build out little plans for that, because it's like you have this time, as much as it's like the unknown and very weird to have a business in a time like this. It's also those little things that you've been wanting to do. It's kind of cool because it's almost like everything's on pause and you're able to do that. And then once it starts back up, hopefully somewhat soon, then it's almost like you had this little secret time where you were able to like kind of build something else behind the scenes, and then it's almost like ready to go right away once you're open back up. So I think that's really cool. For me, that's what I've been focusing on mostly. And it's just really great to see the community really coming together to support one another, whether it's customers or just local businesses coming together. I think it's, I don't know, it just has really shown what a cool and, I don't know, different community we have. I don't really know a lot of other places that are really like this. And I just think it's, I don't know, it just makes me love living here that much more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the exact same as all of you. This time, Jesse and I needed it. We basically hadn't stopped going since we opened, and there was a lot falling through the cracks. And I mean, it sucks that we're not open, but we're really taking this son and like I'm cracking the whip and getting him, on board for wholesale, and we're getting our ducks in a row. And it's the time we needed. And we, like Nicole, have started doing deliveries, and yep, we're going to keep doing them when all of this ends, because it's just been so great. Like, sure, Markdale maybe isn't the closest, but whatever, I'm seeing the countryside and meeting new people from a distance, and it's great, so fine. But yeah, Jesse and I are really taking this time to like work on Good Grief and like phase 2, what's going to happen for year 2 even, because that's coming up. And it's just been good. And same, having a routine. Maybe I don't get dressed every day, but I do work in the morning and a little Netflix in the afternoon, and etc. Like, for me, I need the routine. I have 2 dogs that keep me plenty entertained and busy, and it's just been great. And actually, Lauren and I just started, I don't know that it's phase 2, but a new little thing for Galentine's today, so that's keeping us busy. And it's,
when I think of all of you and who's starting up a business during this time, and it's so tough in the first 3 years. I know that it's so cliche that people say this in the beginning stages. I think how I would just be freaking out. How do you handle this, right? Because you're just new to the whole business world in itself. So that alone is daunting. And for me, I've just been taking this much needed break. Now I'm enjoying the time to rest and finally implementing all these ideas that I've been wanting to do. Like this whole roundtable session is something I've been wanting to do for the past 7 or 8 years. I never got around to it. And it's like timing is perfect, because people need the content now. People are on their phones, and what a great way to create community and connection, and still say, hey, here are the faces to the businesses. We are people. We're not just structures. We're not just companies. We are people behind that. And offering faces to the artwork as well. So it's the shift, and in a time of connection, which I think we all need, and rest and relaxation and reevaluating, adapting, like Nicole, what you said, oh, this works, this doesn't work. You know, I think it was you who said we're all going to be living like Marie Kondo. Does this bring me joy? No. Unfortunately, we can't do that with taxes yet.
Yeah.
But
that'd be nice.
Yeah, I know. One day.
I was saying this to my mom. I was making this joke because, like, what's really nice about our partnership is, like, we're very opposite in ways. Like, we're very similar. She's an Aries. I'm a Taurus. So she's like, let's make decisions. And I'm like, let's think about it. Let's take our time. And that doesn't always work. So it's nice to have that balance. But she's really good with numbers, and I am not. And so I said to her, like, have you ever seen those goats that, like, freeze up and, like, go to the side? It's like when someone says taxes, internally, that's, like, what I do. It's like finances or taxes. I just, like, turn into, like, the frozen goat where it's like I go blank and I'm like, what's happening? I don't understand.
And I find I'm very spontaneous, and I when something comes to my head, I need to just deal with it. Otherwise, I won't get to it at all. And taxes is a little bit like that when you do get it that fit of okay, just gonna do it, just gonna tackle it, and you think, oh, it wasn't even that bad.
No, that's the thing. It's
not even that bad.
Yeah.
And yet it's drudgery. Seeing this surge of young entrepreneurs over the past few years, it sparked inspiration and has reinvigorated me with regards to my own business and position in the community. Watching your approach of collaboration with other businesses demonstrates confidence and a strong sense of how important it is to support your fellow business owners. It's a new trend that I've watched you all create, and I think it's absolutely wonderful and also refreshing. I'd like to hear from you what inspired this concept instead of keeping to the notion of it's every person for themselves.
I'd like to speak on that only because I just feel that our community is very female driven, and I feel that is kind of, for me, what I found the shift to be. And definitely there were companies and businesses in town that were owned by females prior to this kind of surge that we're going through. But I think, Sarah, you're kind of the exception, that you were on the younger side, whereas I think some of the older women who were doing it, they were still in that mentality of kind of competing with the guys. So they felt like they had to compete also. So it wasn't a very collaborative environment, where I think this kind of newer generation sees how that doesn't help anyone. It just kind of creates animosity, and that's kind of how I personally feel about it. And as we've seen through Galentine's or different events that people have thrown, whether it's charity or just even how what's it called, the Foundry does like that coffee mornings, and I think Lemonade is doing one as well in Thornbury, and it just brings other people together, and it just, there's ways to collaborate or talk about things even if you're not in a similar business or a similar industry, and you can take something away from that. So I think that's really special also. So I don't know, it's not just women, obviously there's men too, but I think having a lot of women, I don't know, in our generation, in this little surge that we're seeing, is something that attributes to it, I find.
I would agree with that. I think also it's like a lot of us have similar stories. Like Laura and I are both talking about having this corporate background, and I know like the person I was in that scenario is vastly different from the person that I actually am, and the person that I am navigating this, in terms of like having our business. You know, I was definitely in an environment where it was like, if you sat at the table, if you wanted your voice heard, you had to be able to speak up. And it was very much like, I had a situation with a male colleague who made a mistake. I caught it. It was a very significant mistake. We fixed it over the weekend together. I helped him out because he didn't know how to fix his mistake. And then on Monday morning, as I was going to my desk, I could hear him in with our boss saying like, well, I caught this mistake and like blah, blah, blah. And so I sat there and I thought, I have two options. I can let him do this or I can just walk in. So I walked in and I was like, well, I overheard you and this is actually what happened. So I just wanted to clarify the situation. And that was kind of that environment. And as much as I think like that was a good lesson for me, I don't want to carry that kind of like guard with everything that I do. And I think for me, it's like to have this experience, like I wanted to soften. And so to be in a community where I think some people have that same kind of background, it's like, I don't want that corporate environment. That's why I'm getting away from it. And I think too, like Lauren was saying, it's like younger perspective of what business can be. I think collaboration is something that's really great. And I would say maybe social media has a lot to do with that. Like you see what somebody else does, you share posts, or you suggest things. Like, I mean, we all, I think, know, like, you know, like the polls that you could do to say, like, you know, what brand or like what color do you guys think the shirt should be for next season? And it's like you can vote. So I think like we have more of an idea of how to collaborate without giving up anything and without having to be like competitive in a way that's unhealthy. So I think it's just, I think we've just learned differently in terms of how to maybe navigate and just based off of what we want out of business and what we don't want.
I think part of it too is just being in this area. Corporate background through and through. There aren't really, you know, huge monstrous corporations up here. There are so many small businesses. So how can we, you know, help each other to survive, to keep the town thriving? And kind of the whole area is built that way. And I think that's probably playing into it as well. And every year you see more and more younger people moving up here. What are they going to do? Because they've left their corporate jobs. So we're kind of just creating a new community, if you will, of younger people with ideas. And why not help Joe down the street? If I can't benefit from it, like, why shouldn't they?
Well, basically, the Bivalve is like all collaboration and pop-ups right now. That's all we do. Social media has definitely been a huge part of that for us. Just getting our name out there and having followers, and people actually like come to our events from the city, and when they're up here on the weekends, they come. We've had some great events at Good Grief, at Gibson's, Thornbury Cider, the Cheese Gallery. Basically, we're just like, you know what, if we don't ask and if we don't engage and have relationship with these people, then like it's not going to happen. So let's just introduce ourselves, take a chance. Like if they say no, they say no, or sometimes they ask us to work with them, which is the easier way. But it's been amazing. Like it's been so, I still can't get over how many businesses have reached out to us to come and work in their establishment and throw different parties and just different events, and they always turn out really well, and it's lots of fun, and they take a chance, which is great. And it always seems like the brands always seem to always work well, and it's been lots of fun.
Yeah, it's just, it occurred to me, I don't know, a few months ago, while I was in chatting with Ashley from the Imagination Studio, and she, because in Clerksburg, I don't know if you know the dynamics in Clerksburg, but there was me and then people over 55 who had their businesses. And it was very difficult to try and create some kind of change or progress. And then I just kind of said, I'm doing this and this is my livelihood, this is my future, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I remember it was such a difficult thing to get up and moving, getting lots of feedback like, you're young, what do you know, all sorts of stuff like that. Other people not wanting to work with me because it's all just competition. It's not, yeah, it's all competition. There's no supporting each other, which is a real shame because we could have created a very strong Clarksburg Artsburg. We're only making each other better. We're creating a stronger community, more vibrant community, and we all offer something different. It's just interesting how you're all coming from a corporate environment and where for me it's something that I thought I would go into and I never experienced it. When I moved here, I thought, oh, I'm only going to be here for a few months. Well, that it didn't pan out that way. And I keep thinking, oh, what would have happened had I ventured out to the city like I initially thought? And listening to you all speak, I realize I would have just ended up like you. I remember having tons of young people come in to the gallery, and as soon as they'd see me, like, what are you doing here? And I would say, what do you mean? Well, you're young. You're under 50. What are you doing here? And I said, well, this is my business. And so it's just been interesting to see, because we don't have careers, we don't have opportunities for younger people. So the younger generation has created their own careers, their own opportunities, which is so phenomenal. Well, it's the young that are really creating the vibrancy of our community and the uniqueness of our community. And women, as you said. On that note, do you have any mentors or people who inspire you?
My child
Chloe.
barged into the room.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
She's one of my inspirations. She makes me work harder and do things that are going to better our lives. Yeah, meltdown time. I gotta get going though, just so she doesn't start screaming. But thank you so much for including me in this. It was
Oh
really
yeah, thanks, Lauren. Thanks for participating.
really
Bye, Lauren.
Good luck. Okay. And then there were 4. Yeah. So do you have any mentors or people who inspire you?
Yeah, and I'm not even joking at all when I say like each and every one of you guys. Like I ask Lauren all the time. I'm like, like, what would you do if whatever? It's like talking to Alix, talking to you, Sarah. I've asked you many questions. I would say I'm very fortunate to be able to ask people that are close to me in terms of like local, and people that I consider friends, who I know will give me honest advice through their own experiences. Like I feel very lucky with the community here, that with so many business owners and that welcoming ness, and also like I feel like a closeness in some regard, because it's like this shared experience and like this understanding of like when you say you're stressed, it's like when you turn to like Lauren or Alix or you, where it's like you're an entrepreneur, it's like I'm stressed, and it's like yes, like I understand. But yeah, I'm very lucky to be able to have other business owners who are friends that I can turn to and ask questions, and feel very supported in that. My mom is a big source of inspiration for me in a lot of ways. And then there's things on social media too, like other people on social media that I like their aesthetic or whatever. Like I feel inspiration from them in that regard, or how they're handling themselves on social media, just as a general. But I would say like my most valued are, no joke, like you guys, like the community that I have here is the biggest part of that for me, for sure, hands down.
Yeah, I would say similar. I think because of the community we've built, and we talked about that collaboration, it's like you can talk to anyone. Like obviously we've become closer with certain people just because of forced friendships and things like that. But yeah, it's the same thing. Like I can come up with, I'll be playing on my computer or something, and send off a few like little t-shirt designs or something, like, what do you guys think of this? Like, if you hate it, cool. If you like it, cool, let me know. Different things like that. So I look a lot into different like lifestyle brands to see just what other people are doing in different parts of Canada or North America, or things like that. I'm very into, I really love art. So anyone on Instagram, I have a whole kind of secret Instagram that I just follow a whole bunch of like artists and things like that. So I go on there a lot and play around. But yeah, just that's kind of what I kind of look to. I don't really have like a mentor per se. I think I have like almost like a sounding board of people that I can rely on for honest opinions, and they know they can give me honest opinions, then I'm not going to be offended by it. Because as much, and it's almost like because they're in that same kind of like space or mentality where they have their own business, they know how to say it, where they can say, maybe don't do that, but in a way that's not going to like, if they know you've worked hard on it, that's not gonna like totally make you break down or something like that. They can just say it in a way like, hey, when you tweak this or work on that, or there's something maybe a bit different that you should I'm just not feeling it yet. Like, let's try something different. So, and I think because we've built those friendships and that level of trust, and we kind of understand each other's brands, it's just, I don't know, it works really well. So it's kind of created this really cool kind of like community of being able to grow with one another.
Yeah, I'm absolutely the exact same. The female friendships specifically that I've made since being up here are just phenomenal. You know, you get in your tips, but overall, you know someone to their core because this is a small community and everybody's just there to be supportive. And it's truly amazing. And like every day when I wake up to 50 missed messages at 6 a.m., or I know that, okay, like friend hat on, what can I help her with? What is she helping me with? And there are countless people like that in this area, and it's so amazing. And this is like super sappy, but my partner in life, Keaton, is probably my mentor, I guess. He came from a corporate background and opened Gibson with literally no experience, and they've done so well. And he's kind of like my guiding light for the good grief side of things. Like, I'm not a bookkeeper, I'm not an accountant, but I am now. And you know, he helps me out, and you know, doesn't ask for anything, still makes me dinner every night. Like he's the best. He's my rock.
That's adorable. Again, it's so foreign from what I had, what my experience was in the beginning of my business. I've only experienced these friendships that you're talking about, or collaborations, and where you can honestly discuss the state of your business and your ideas. I didn't have that for the first 9 years of being in business, and just completely alone, and making it all up as I go along. And I can't help but think, where would my business, and where would I be, where would my business be had I had that opportunity to cultivate those friendships. And so I think you girls are just absolutely lucky to be there together, experience it all together, and being so open and helpful and supportive. I think that's a beautiful thing. Good on you.
Well, I think you learn quickly, like all of us, we've all, you know, we've moved from Toronto. We still have our friends, you know, from Toronto or wherever. But there's a different kind of friendship. Like I can obviously show things to my other friends and say, oh, do you like this? Do you think it's cute or not? But there's a different kind of scope or, you know, interpretation you can get from a fellow business owner who will think of it from a different perspective. So
Yeah.
that's why I just view it as being so valuable. And just even like Keaton, for, you know, he's not my life partner, but there's things that I've asked him, or there's things he's done for us, or for Galentine's, or for this. And just, it's just so awesome how we can all lean on one another, and everyone is just so, there's no animosity, there's no, I don't know, it's just so, I don't know, it's really refreshing to see, I find.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said earlier, it's a shift that I noticed that probably in the past 3 years or 4 years, we'll say that's happened, and honored and to be getting to know all of you, because like I said, you also inspire me to create a current brand and to also connect with you all. And how can I help you? Being the grandmother here. Just those simple little things that it's taken me forever to learn. And if I can help you that way, and you are helping me also with my brand and helping me stay young, you know, it's all just a lovely circle of support and appreciation and respect. How do you know when you have a good idea?
When you make money now.
I think for me, it's again that community. Just like send out your idea to 5 of your friends and ask what they think, get their feedback. We're not all in the same industry, so we're coming at things from different perspectives and ideas, and it's great. We don't always agree, and that's totally fine, but it helps you even just to get it out, right? To talk through something. Lauren and I literally did that today. We were struggling, and we're just sending words to each other, and then it happened. And that's, that's how it happens sometimes. You think you're a genius, but you need to get it out and hear it and see it on paper before you're like, oh, maybe not.
You just need to take a chance also, because I think as women specifically, and I always think back to Jen Walker, which is how I met Nicole. She had Jen Walker do kind of like a woman's kind of in business. How can she kind of like uplift and get us to that next level? And I remember one of the things when she introduced herself and how she started her business, she was just kind of just doing, self-help across the board. And she found with her men clients, she had to almost, knock them down a peg to say, like, they'd be like, I'm the best, I'm so great. And she's like, and then I'm meeting with the women who have these like incredible ideas, and they're just full of doubt of like themselves and their ideas and if they can do it. So I think that's a thing as women, and that's why having a strong community is so great, because you could be like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this, and if you don't do it, someone's going to be like, hey, you told me about this, and why aren't you doing that? Like, that's what you should be doing. So I think that's a really great aspect to it too, because I think as women, we don't give ourselves enough credit as to what a good idea might be, and sit on it and then be disappointed if someone else then does something similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that fear, the important relationship between fear and creativity. Running a business is terrifying, it's humbling, and it keeps us on our toes. Important role that fear has in creating our success. Bravery, doing something scary, and being creative with our lives. I think bravery and creativity is the very definition of being an entrepreneur. Working with the hard parts and not against them will create movement.
Yeah. I actually used to work for a company in Toronto, and they coached entrepreneurs, and one of their whole like mantras was called the 4 C's. And it's about like making a commitment, finding the courage to do that. You get a new capability, and then you gain confidence, and then it's a cycle. So you just keep doing it. So yeah, if you're comfortable, do it again.
Yeah.
Find something else, get the courage to do it, and you're gonna learn from it. It's it's never gonna be bad. Sure, maybe it's not the outcome you wanted, but you still gained something from it.
Yeah, and we all make mistakes, and that's how we learn.
Well, sometimes the mistakes are happy accidents. Like we've gone through that, like watching mom make product where she's like, crap, like I added too much of this ingredient, or it's like, oh no, I forgot this one. And it's like, well, let's just see how it turns out. And some of those mistakes have been, like one of them actually was the formulation for the lip balm, which is one of my favorite products. And that was like, mom had like an oopsie moment, but it was just like, oh, this is even better. Yay. Like, like, great. So yeah, I guess trial and error is just like, why not?
Yeah. I truly believe that out of something bad, or it's perceived to be bad at the moment, always comes something much better as a result. Yeah. And it's your mentality. You either choose to recognize, oh, I've learned from this, yay. What excites you about your business?
That's good. I think what excites me about my business is that there are so many kind of different ways or different things that I still want to do with it. So what I did initially, there were like a few mistakes in there, obviously, but now kind of like was able to work past that. I kind of had to pivot through that. But now it's just, there's so much possibility, and it's almost like I'm looking at it as the opportunity. It's like obviously the same business, but to me, it's something completely new, and the opportunity to create something new with it. So that's exciting. And I think being an entrepreneur, kind of in the time that we're in, because there's so much that you can do with technology and social media, I think it makes owning a business even better, just because you can constantly pivot, change, create different almost like branches of your business, say like with Alix with wholesale, things like that. There's so many different things that you can do that you can just continuously grow and push yourself and change in ways that you maybe couldn't before.
absolutely. Like Lauren just said, wholesale for us is the business. We haven't really had a chance to do it, so we are excited to see how it goes. I mean, it could be a total flop, but whatever, then we tried. But that's the goal, and that's so unknown to both of Jesse and I, and we'll see what happens, and it could be huge, and that's so exciting.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think the possibility is what makes it the most exciting in terms of direction that we can do with it. Mainly with product, I would say there's always an experimentation process in terms of like new scents or new formulations with shampoo or body lotion or face cream or serums, and even getting to play with like color and stuff with like tinted lip balms that we're doing. And so, I mean, that's a little bit stagnant right now because it's difficult to get certain ingredients just with so much being on pause. But overall, it's like, having that chance to play within that realm, and then also like what you were saying with wholesale, it's like that's an aspect of it. And I will say too, it's like kind of what Lauren was saying as well. It's like watching like how a brand can evolve and being okay with allowing it to. And I know like seeing like One Love as an example, which was like Hearts and Crafts, I think was like Lena's like original name. And then it was One Love, and now it's Vaya, and she's like moved locations. And that's actually somebody else that it's like I've had her in my mind of just like go with what makes sense. Like if you want to rebrand. If you want to move. Like it doesn't have to be like, well, we've committed to this logo, it has to stay this way. Or we've committed to this product line, it has to stay this way. So yeah, I would say the exciting part too is that opportunity for shifts and change and learning the whole way through.
I think if you stay stuck, you don't change, you're not going to survive.
Oh, 1000%.
You're not going to survive, especially in this world that moves so quickly. I mean, when you look at Sears had the same brand, same everything for decades, and it worked up until, say, 2000s, where everything started moving quickly with the advent of the internet and social media and everything like that, right? So, but they just couldn't, they stay stagnant. They couldn't reinvent themselves or just change. And so those who do not want to change, they're not going to make it. They're not going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
What excites me about the gallery and putting it online, I have it online, but it's not click, yes, I'm going to buy a $4,000 painting, right? Not having seen it before or anything like that. So it's really, for me, it's been a different shift of having it, having these talks, bringing it online, reconnecting with the artists and really seeing where they want to go and how I can help take them there, and how can I look after myself as well in a different way, because how I went for the past 10 years is not sustainable for me. I love what you said about opportunities and continually being inspired by what you want to offer. I think that's so cool.
Everything has to be flexible, because even something that you've built in your mind, as even something like when I was creating the business, it's like I had something on my mind, I wanted that shop. Well, it didn't work out. I had to flex really quickly, get a truck, and you just keep flexing, you keep changing, you keep and the things are going to fall into place that are meant to fall into place, and you can't fight those. You just got to work with them and pivot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the whole thing about being an entrepreneur, right? This isn't a 9 to 5 corporate send emails from 8 to 9 type of thing. Like every day is different, even if it has the same aspects. Like you got to be on your toes. You need to be willing to have shit, thrown at you from every direction every day, because you don't know.
I remember I was always saying yes to whatever opportunity came my way. I said yes, 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 yes. Now I'm at the point where I'm saying no. Feel really grateful to be at that point. Oh, I'm kind of in a good place, and now I'm going to make my place better because we're so busy rushing and just lost in that, because it's 24/7, especially in the first like 3 years. Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be back there. I'm just so excited for all of you and for your futures, all these wonderful additions to our communities. Loving it and so proud of you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for hosting this. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is great.
Thank you, girls, for being here tonight. It's been a wonderful time chatting with you all about business and life, keeping each other on our toes. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.